Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. This is the very beginning of an exciting journey, and I'm so glad you're here from the start. I may be new around here, but I'm ready to bring you some awesome and chilling stories that I hope you'll love. Stick around, relax, and let's dive into today's creepy tale. Story: The Disappearance of Jake. Jake and I had been best friends since we were kids. He was that guy, always the loudest laugh in the room, cracking jokes, pulling wild stunts. The type of person who could make any boring day exciting. So when Jake disappeared, it didn't just leave a gap in my life. It left a black hole. The last time I saw him was about a year ago. We were hanging out at our favorite dive bar, talking about life, making plans for the future. Jake was joking, as always, about how his boring office job was draining the life out of him. A week later, he stopped responding to my texts. At first, I thought he was just off the grid again. He did that sometimes, vanishing for a few days to clear his head. But days turned into weeks. I knew something was seriously wrong. His family filed a missing persons report, but the police didn't have much to go on. No signs of foul play, no unusual bank activity. He just disappeared. His coworkers said he left work on a Friday like any normal day and never came back. Months passed. Everyone seemed to move on. His family, his sister. They stopped asking for updates. But I couldn't let it go. Jake wasn't the type to just leave everything behind. He would have told me if something was wrong. Then one day, out of the blue, his sister contacted me. She'd been cleaning out Jake's old apartment and found an old laptop hidden away. "Maybe there's something in here," she said, handing it over. I had no idea at the time that opening that laptop would send me spiraling down a nightmare I'd never escape. The laptop was ancient, dusty, cracked, barely held together with tape. When I powered it on, it asked for a password. I tried everything I could think of: his birthday, his dog's name, inside jokes. Nothing worked. It took me weeks, but I finally figured out how to bypass it using some random YouTube tutorial. When I finally accessed the desktop, there was almost nothing there, just a few folders and one lone text file. One folder caught my eye. It was buried deep and labeled Haven. Inside were dozens of strange links, all ending with .onion. I didn't know much about the dark web, but I knew enough to recognize that these were sites you couldn't access with a normal browser. I stared at the screen, torn between curiosity and dread. I thought about Jake, where he might be, what could have happened. That was enough to push me forward. I downloaded Tor and clicked on the first link. What I saw made my stomach turn. It was a dark web forum, a cesspool of twisted conversations and disturbing content. Conspiracy theories, illegal deals, things I couldn't even bring myself to read. But then I found something worse. A section dedicated to missing people. Dozens of photos, men, women, young and old, all listed with chilling captions like, "Obedient, healthy, perfect for domestic service or organ donor." I kept scrolling, hands shaking, and then I saw it. Jake's photo. It was blurry, grainy, but unmistakable. The scar over his left eyebrow, that crooked little smile. The caption read, Male 25, smart, strong build, starting bid, 30 B2C. My heart froze. I couldn't believe what I was reading. My best friend, someone I'd grown up with, laughed with, was now being auctioned off like an object. I called the police immediately. I showed them the laptop, the dark website, Jake's listing. They barely took me seriously. It's probably just some sick prank, one officer told me. They promised to look into it, but I could tell they thought I was being paranoid. Even Jake's family didn't believe me. His sister was polite but distant. His parents stopped returning my calls altogether. I couldn't let it go. If no one else would save Jake, I had to. I spent hours learning how to navigate the dark web safely, creating fake accounts, using VPNs, reading every guide I could find. But I knew I couldn't do it alone. That's when I found someone called Voidwalker. He was infamous on dark web forums for finding hidden information for a price. I messaged him, explaining everything. Days passed with no reply, and I thought I'd been ghosted. But then one night, I got a message. What are you offering? I wasn't rich, but I promised whatever I could. Money, favors, anything. Eventually, he agreed. Voidwalker wasn't cheap. I had to empty my savings and convert it all to Bitcoin. In exchange, he gave me access to an exclusive site called Haven. It was more organized than I expected, polished, professional, like a twisted version of Craigslist. There was a whole section for missing persons, with filters for age, gender, and condition. Jake's profile was still there. This time, a countdown timer showed his auction ending in 4 days. I sat there staring at the screen. Jake's photo burned into my mind. Every instinct screamed at me to shut it all down and pretend I'd never seen it. But I couldn't. There was also a chat room for buyers and sellers. I jumped in, desperate for answers. Who is Lot 46? Where is he being held? How do I get him out? I typed. My message was met with laughter and taunts. One user messaged me privately. Stick your nose where it doesn't belong, and you'll be next. I slammed my laptop shut, my heart racing. But the next morning, I woke up to a text from an unknown number. Last warning. Stop now. Attached was a photo of my apartment building. They knew where I lived. Despite the threat, I logged back on. A user named Lot 46 Watcher messaged me, saying they had info, but it would cost me. I paid everything I had left. They sent me an address, an old warehouse on the outskirts of town. That night, I went there. The place looked abandoned, windows boarded up, graffiti everywhere. I found a side door slightly ajar and slipped inside. What I saw will haunt me forever. Rows of cages filled with terrified, broken people. Their whispers and cries echoed in the darkness. But Jake wasn't there. Suddenly, a voice behind me. Looking for someone? I turned to see a masked man holding a gun. He smirked. You're too late. Chaos broke out. I managed to blind him with my flashlight and ran as gunshots rang out. I escaped, but Jake was gone. The warehouse vanished overnight. The website disappeared without a trace. I left town, changed my name, deleted my online life. But no matter how far I run, I can't shake the feeling that someone is always watching. And I know one thing for sure. They don't forget.